Today, we are at the Huntington Library, Art Museum, and Botanical Gardens. And this is a wonderful place for you to bring the whole family. I'm going to read a little bit from the brochure that you can get should you decide to visit this lovely location. The Huntington Library, Art Museum, and Botanical Gardens is a collections-based research and educational institution founded in 1919 by Henry E. and Arabella Huntington. Now, Henry Huntington was an exceptional businessman who built a financial empire in Southern California, and I believe he was in railroad business, big time. He was also, according to the brochure, a man of vision with a special interest in rare books, arts, and gardens. And we start here with the main mansion. So, hey, these people lived really well. This is where they lived. Imagine living in a place like this. Anyway, they collected a lot of things, had lots of interests in rare books, art, and of course put together this botanical garden. And you can spend the whole day here. And here we look out at the botanical gardens. Hard to believe that this is very close to Pasadena and LA area, because it seems like you're just in a different part of the world here. Hard to believe that we're really very close to urban areas and highly populated areas when you're here. So it's really nice to be able to get here and sort of get away from the hustle and bustle of Southern California. During Huntington's lifetime, he amassed the core of one of the finest research libraries in the world. We'll visit that in a little bit here. And assembled a spectacular art collection. And that's what we're starting to look at right now. This is Huntington himself, and over here is his wife. She looks like she's in mourning there. Don't know how you could be so unhappy with all this stuff. Well, yeah, we know. Just because you have a lot of stuff doesn't mean you're happy. Anyway, we'll look at the research library in a second. So the art collection is here in their former home. And this is a pretty fancy place. You got this grand staircase here and just lots of neat art collections, paintings and sculptures and all sorts of stuff. The Huntington's collections have continued to grow since Henry Huntington's time, serving up according to the brochure, a feast for the senses and intellect, linked by a devotion to research, education, and beauty. Little bit of information on the Huntingtons. Henry Edwards Huntington was born in 1850 in New York. In 1872, he went to work for his uncle, Collis P. Huntington, one of the owners of the Central Pacific Railroad. See, so it's the railroads thing. And that was a strong link to his wealth. This work led him west to California. In 1903, he purchased the San Marino Ranch and began transforming it into what is now the Huntington Library, Art Museum, and Botanical Gardens. In 1913, he married Arabella Duval Huntington, the widow of Collis. That's a little bit scandalous. Anyway, she was Henry's age and shared his interests in collecting. As one of the most important art collectors of her generation, she was highly influential in the development of the Huntington's European art collection. Huntington himself died in 1927. Arabella predeceased him by 3 years. Both are buried in the mausoleum on the property, and unfortunately I didn't get a chance to go see that. I've been there in previous visits. So you can see, oh, hey, look, it's Gene Wilder. No, that's not really Gene Wilder. You can see, I was constantly amazed at the detail of the paintings. And here is a very large art display within the Huntington house there, the art collection. Down at the end there is the Blue Boy painting. We'll have a good look at that in just a second here. But sculptures and paintings and just really beautiful artwork that you can take some time to look at. Here is, of course, the Blue Boy painting, which is a very famous piece, and a lot of people want to come and get pictures of this particular piece of art. Here's another room within the Huntington Mansion. Lots of tapestries, very fancy place here. The art museum focuses on European, American, and Asian art. European art is displayed in the Huntington Art Gallery, which again, we are in right now, the former residence of Henry E. and Arabella Huntington. American art can be found in the Virginia Steele Scott Galleries of American Art, which are a separate location here on the premises. The Studio for Lodging, the Mind Gallery in the Chinese Garden displays primarily Asian art. Major temporary exhibitions are mounted in the Mary Lou and George Boone Gallery. So lots of places that we didn't even get a chance to visit. This building is the library. The library is one of the world's great independent research libraries concentrated in the fields of British and American history, literature, art, and the history of science, stretching from the 11th century to the present. Highlights from the library collection of some 11 million items are on display in the Library Exhibition Hall. The West Hall, the library hosts changing exhibitions. One of the things you're going to see here in just a second is a copy of a Gutenberg Bible. This has been here for years and years. I remember seeing it when I would come here with my parents. A landmark in printing, as it says right there. And so you will see the Gutenberg Bible and, lots of other displays here. Here is the Gutenberg Bible, and there is Gutenberg himself. And so this is one of the highlights of the visit to the library. And of course, a visit to the Huntington Library is not complete without taking the time to look through the gardens. Lots of movies have been filmed at this particular location, and you can see why. And not too far away from this location is the LA County Arboretum, where another host of films and TV shows has been filmed at these particular places. This is a beautiful, beautiful scene here, seeing the Huntington mansion there in the background, and this nice area with all these sculptures, and you've got this big fountain that's here. And you can basically just sort of walk through all of the gardens. You could come here and spend the whole day walking through the gardens and maybe not even have time to go to the art museum and the library itself. When we used to come when I was a kid, when I was a mere lad, we would go to the library first, the art museum second, and then we would look through the gardens and made a whole day out of it. So a beautiful place to come and visit, and place for the whole family during certain times of the year. Days during the week they have activities for children in particular, so you can have like a kids garden and things like that. Here is the rose garden. Fortunately, we're here during a time of the year where the roses are not in bloom. They've been keeping them pruned and getting them ready for the blooms, which will come soon. But imagine coming here during the time when the roses are in full bloom. It's a beautiful, beautiful area. So the rose garden, one of the highlights of the visit that you can go to, but obviously not so much this time of year, but there's so many other things that you can enjoy here in the Huntington Library and Botanical Gardens. And I just keep thinking what it must have been like to live here. What would it be like to live in a place like this? And to be able to go out in your yard and you've got acres and acres of these botanical gardens. This is the Japanese garden, which is another highlight of the botanical gardens. Many individuals will come to visit the Japanese garden and the Chinese garden. There are other gardens as well that you can visit on the property, but we didn't get a chance to go to those during this visit. There's, of course, the palm garden, there's the jungle garden, subtropical garden, Australian garden, there's lily ponds, and there's also a desert garden. Most individuals tend to visit the Japanese and Chinese gardens. Oh, look, koi fish. Lots of koi fish here. They look hungry, but there's nothing to feed them, so I'm assuming that they take care of that on their own here at the Huntington Library. But yes, lots of other gardens that you can go to. There's even a Shakespeare garden. And here we are heading into the Chinese garden. There's lots of little places where we were here during the week, so there's little sitting areas. I think some of these buildings are like little coffee shops or places where you can get snacks. They have a few places like that, mostly over towards the entrance, but it looked like there was, I don't know if I would call it a restaurant, but a place where you can get snacks and rest and enjoy the scenery. But this particular area was closed today. But look at the beauty of this garden. You know, in all the years I had come here, this was actually a place that, a part of the Botanical Gardens that my family and I never really got to visit before this particular visit today. So it was really neat to be able to see this. So many trails. You can buy memberships to this, and then you could just come here and walk and enjoy the scenery and just take part in the beauty. And you just kind of see something different each time you come. So love this area. Again, this is part of the Chinese garden. And lots of these neat displays, all from, collections. They started these collections, and then the collection work has continued. And all of this is now preserved for our enjoyment today. And if you think about it, that's a humble reminder that when the end of life comes, you're not taking anything with you. But hey, at least we get to enjoy it. Well, I hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.